You spent hundreds on a fresh detail. Maybe even a ceramic coating. The paint looked mirror-sharp, deep, alive. 2 weeks later? Dull. Hazy. That gloss you paid for is already fading. You're washing it the same way you always have, so what's going wrong? Here's the truth. The problem isn't your product. It's not your wax, your sealant, or even your coating. It's your wash method. And most car owners are destroying their paint finish every single time they rinse. The worst part? The industry wants you to keep doing it. Because dull paint means you'll buy more correction, more coatings, more quick fixes. But stay with me, because by the end of this video I'm going to show you the one washing mistake that's stealing your gloss, the hidden reason it happens, and the exact fix that'll keep your paint looking showroom fresh for months. Let's dig in. First, let's get clear on what gloss actually is. It's not shine. Shine comes from product. Gloss comes from surface smoothness. When your clear coat is perfectly level, light reflects evenly. That's gloss. The moment you introduce micro-scratches, contamination, or residue, light scatters. The paint looks flat. Now here's where most people mess up. They think washing is safe. It's just soap and water, right? Wrong. Every wash is a mechanical process. You're dragging material across your clear coat under pressure. If your technique introduces friction, dirt, or chemicals that etch the surface, you're dulling the paint with every pass. And once that damage accumulates, no amount of wax will bring the gloss back. You're polishing over scratches, not removing them. So the question isn't whether your wash hurts the paint. It's how much damage you're doing each time. And that depends entirely on your method. Now let me prove it. Take 2 identical panels. Wash one with a single bucket method, standard sponge, no pre-rinse. Wash the other with a 2-bucket system, grit guard, pre-foam, and microfiber mitt. Inspect both under direct sunlight or a paint depth gauge. The single bucket panel will show swirls, marring, and haze. The 2-bucket panel stays clearer. This isn't theory. This is repeatable. I've done it on customer cars, test panels, even my own daily. The difference is visible within 5 washes. But here's the kicker. Most people never inspect their paint up close. They see clean and assume it's fine. Meanwhile, the clear coat is getting thinner, rougher, and less reflective. By the time they notice the dullness, they've already done months of damage. And here's the worst part. Once you've marred the clear coat, you need compounding or polishing to restore it. That's removal. You're shaving off material. Do that too many times and you'll burn through to the base coat. So why does every car wash, every detailer, every quick lube push the same old method? Because it's fast. And fast means profit. They're not thinking about your paint in 6 months. They're thinking about throughput. Automatic car washes are the worst offenders. Those spinning brushes? They're loaded with dirt from the last 50 cars. They're essentially sandpapering your clear coat at high speed. Even touchless washes use harsh chemicals to break down dirt without scrubbing. Those chemicals etch your clear coat, strip your wax, and leave behind residue that dulls the finish. But they market it as safe, because there's no physical contact. Meanwhile, your gloss disappears wash after wash. The industry profits from the cycle: wash, dull, correct, seal, repeat. They're not trying to hurt your car. They're just not incentivized to protect it long term. And that's the game you need to stop playing. Here's when the damage really happens. If your paint is already contaminated with tar, sap, iron, or old wax, and you start scrubbing without a pre-wash, you're grinding that contamination across the surface. It acts like sandpaper. Even if you're using a soft mitt, the dirt is doing the cutting. Same thing if your wash mitt isn't clean. If you dip it back into dirty water, reload it with grit, and keep scrubbing, you're just redistributing scratches. Now add in the wrong soap. Dish soap, household cleaners, or even some car wash formulas are too alkaline. They strip oils from your clear coat, leaving it dry and vulnerable. A dry clear coat scratches easier. It also oxidizes faster, which kills gloss even if you're not touching it. So the rule is simple: never wash dirty paint. Never reuse dirty water. Never use the wrong chemistry. Break any of those rules and your gloss is gone. Let's kill the myths right now. Myth 1: washing more often keeps the paint safer. False. Washing more often with a bad method means more damage faster. Myth 2. Pressure washers are too aggressive. Also false. A pressure washer with proper technique and distance is one of the safest tools you can use. It removes dirt without contact. Myth 3. Wax protects against wash damage. Partially true, but misleading. Wax adds a sacrificial layer, sure. But if your wash method is scratching through that layer and into the clear coat, the wax isn't saving you. It's just masking the damage temporarily. And here's the big one: ceramic coatings make washing safe. No. Coatings add hardness and hydrophobics. They don't make your paint immune to marring. If you scrub a coated car with a dirty mitt, you'll still mar it. You'll just mar the coating instead of the clear. The coating buys you some margin, but it's not a free pass to wash carelessly. Now here's what's really happening under the surface. Every time you drag something across your clear coat, you're creating microabrasions. These are tiny peaks and valleys in the finish. When light hits them, it scatters instead of reflecting cleanly. That scattering is what your eye reads as dullness. The more abrasions you add, the worse it gets. But here's the hidden danger: contamination bonding. When your paint is rough, contaminants stick easier. Brake dust, industrial fallout, tree sap, they all embed into those micro-scratches. Now your paint not only looks dull, it feels rough. And when you wash it next time, those embedded particles act like cutting agents. You're scrubbing your paint with its own dirt. It's a compounding cycle. Rough surface, more contamination; rougher surface, worse gloss. And once you're in that cycle, no amount of washing will fix it. You need correction. But correction removes clear coat. So you're left with a choice: live with dull paint, or thin your clear. Unless you stop the cycle at the source. So how do you know if you're already in trouble? Run your hand across the paint after a wash. If it feels rough, gritty, or textured, you've got bonded contamination. Look at the paint under direct sun or LED light. If you see spiderwebs, swirls, or a hazy reflection, you've got marring. Check your wash water. If it's cloudy or full of dirt after one panel, you're not pre-rinsing enough. And here's the big tell: if your paint looks great right after a wax or sealant, but dull again within days, your wash method is stripping the protection and reintroducing damage. Don't ignore these signs. Every wash you do with the wrong method is making it worse. If you keep going, you'll hit a point where correction isn't enough. You'll need a respray. And that's thousands of dollars because you didn't change a $5 wash habit. The consequences are real, and they're expensive. Now let's talk about the scenarios where this gets even worse. If you've got a turbocharged car, a dark color, or soft paint like Mazda, Nissan, or Audi, you're at higher risk. Dark paint shows every single scratch. Soft paint mars easier under the same pressure. And if you're in a dusty area, near construction, or you park under trees, you're introducing more contamination per week than someone in a clean suburban garage. That means your margin for error is smaller. You can't get away with lazy washes. You need tighter process, better tools, and more frequent decontamination. Same goes for wrapped cars or PPF. Yes, the film protects the paint, but the film itself can scratch, dull, and stain if you wash it wrong. I've seen brand new PPF turned hazy in under a year because the owner used automatic washes. So if you've invested in protection, you need to protect the protection. Otherwise, you're just moving the damage one layer up. Here's the twist: you don't need to spend more money. You need to spend more time. The 2-bucket method costs $20. A foam cannon attachment is $30. A pack of microfiber mitts is $15. You're in for under $70 total, and that setup will outlast a year of automatic washes and save you a paint correction that costs $300 minimum. But here's the real secret: the pre-wash. Most people skip it. They go straight to scrubbing. Big mistake. A proper pre-wash with a foam cannon or pump sprayer soaks the paint, lifts dirt, and lets it slide off before you ever touch the surface. That one step eliminates 90% of wash-induced scratches. Add a clay bar or iron remover every few months, and you're removing bonded contamination before it becomes a problem. This is the middle ground nobody talks about. You don't need to be a professional. You just need to slow down and do it right. The gloss will stay, the paint will last, and you'll stop feeding the correction cycle. So how do you choose the right process for your car? Here's the checklist. 1. Always pre-rinse with a pressure washer or hose to remove loose dirt. 2. Use a pH-neutral soap designed for cars, not dish liquid. 3. 2 buckets minimum, 1 for soap, 1 for rinse, both with grit guards. 4. Use a clean microfiber mitt and flip it often. 5. Wash in straight lines, not circles. 6. Dry with a microfiber towel or blower, never let it air dry. 7. Decontaminate every 3 to 6 months with clay or iron remover. 8. Top with a spray sealant or wax after every few washes to maintain protection. 9. Inspect your paint monthly under good light. If you see marring, correct it before it spreads. 10. Avoid automatic washes, brush washes, and gas station specials. Follow these 10 steps and your paint will stay glossy, smooth, and protected for years. No magic products. Just proper technique. Here's your takeaway. Gloss isn't about what you put on your paint. It's about what you don't take off. Every time you wash wrong, you're removing clear coat, adding scratches, and killing reflectivity. The industry won't tell you this because dull paint keeps you coming back. But now you know. Your wash method is either preserving your paint or destroying it. There's no middle ground. And the good news? The fix is simple, cheap, and repeatable. You don't need a garage full of tools. You need a system. Stick to it, and your car will look better in 6 months than it does today. That's the power of prevention. That's the difference between gloss that lasts and gloss that fades. And that's how you stop paying for corrections you never needed in the first place. You're in control now. Use it. Now I want to hear from you. What's your current wash routine, and have you noticed your gloss fading faster than it should? Drop a comment below. If this video helped you finally understand why your paint keeps dulling, smash that like button and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Because next week I'm exposing the ceramic coating lie that's costing people thousands and delivering almost nothing. You'll want to see that before you buy your next bottle. Until then, wash smart, protect your clear,